Hello, my name is Kevin. I'm a technical solutions professional for Microsoft. I want to run through quickly how role-based access control works in CSP, specifically for Azure. This gives a lot of customers and partners a bit of a problem, so I just want to run through how it actually works. So here we've got Partner Center. So if you're a partner that is either a direct or an indirect, you'll know what this looks like. So we're going to go to the customer here. What you'll see is we've got our license-based subscriptions and then we've got our usage-based subscriptions. So you'll see here we've got 3 Azure subscriptions linked to this customer. So the customer being Azure Tech Series. So we've got these 3 subscriptions that are linked to this customer. So if we go all resources and we click all resources, it will take us through to our Azure portal. The important part here being that I am signed in using my partner credentials. So you'll see there is the same details as here that I've used to sign in. This is very important that partners maintain or use their credentials that are provisioned for Partner Center and the Active Directory that is linked to Partner Center to go and manage customer subscriptions and environments if it is a service that they are providing. So what we'll see here is we've got 3 subscriptions. You'll see that they tie up to these 3 subscriptions that are available here. And we're going to go and have a look at this first one. So this is the first subscription we created when we created this customer. And we'll see the roles that are now existing. So this first one that was created was admin at Azure Tech Series. So that's the default account that gets created when you create the tenant in the subscription. You'll see that we also have foreign principal here. Foreign principal is the Active Directory object that is brought in from the Partner Center AD and is used to control and manage the partners' users that log in and manage customer environments. You'll see that my email address here, kevin.george@csp, does not actually exist in any of these roles, yet I'm able to come in, manage subscriptions, create resources, do all of that because of this foreign principal agent here. This will always exist on any subscription that a CSP provider provisions. You'll see I've also created a new user, and you'll see that they have different roles. So we've got some services or users that have contributor role and some that have owner role. This is very important because it determines who can create additional subscriptions or services. Owners are generally the CSP provider and the customer. Contributors are our partners and or other third-party agents that are working on that subscriptions or service for them. Okay, so here we'll see I've got this Azure subscription and it has these users. If I go to another one, and we go to access control again, sometimes we just have to refresh. You'll see now that this subscription only has these 3 users or roles. As I said, you will always have the CSP provider object, and then in this case I've got 2 automation accounts. So you'll see that the original admin account doesn't exist here, the one that I created, or any other third-party services don't exist on here. And this is the crux of how role-based access control works in CSP, is partners, so the CSP partner or provider has to go and assign those rights to the end customer. If they're a tier 2, that have to assign those access rights to an indirect provider, and so on. Here is how it works in practice. I've logged in as admin, so the original account that got created, and you can see that I only actually see 1 subscription. So whereas in this account where I am logged in as the CSP provider, I can see all 3 accounts. As the original account that was created, I can only see the 1 subscription. If I go onto it, I can do everything that I would normally be able to do because my access is owner. So I can go and create resources, I can do everything, but I can't see any additional subscriptions. And we can see if I go to access control, we'll see the same view that I can see as the indirect provider or the CSP provider. So we can see these same tenants. How this is resolved is if I want to give access to another party for a specific subscription, you go to access control and you can invite them to it. So the first part is you choose the role that they're going to get. So as I mentioned, if you're a customer, you get owner. If you're a partner or a third-party contributor, you would get contributor. And then there's obviously a number of other roles that they can choose from. I'm going to choose owner because it's the original admin. You can choose whether you want to give them to access to the actual Azure infrastructure or just a virtual machine. In this situation, we're going to give infrastructure. And you'll see that I've already got a number of names here, or user accounts that have either been invited, added, or have existed on this Azure Active Directory at some point. So in this situation, I'm going to give it to the admin account, and we're going to save it. And what it'll do is add the user. Right, and this is very important. It's adding and not inviting. I'll explain the difference to that just now. So now you'll see that we've added this user here. If we go back into this subscription, and most times we can just refresh the page. Sometimes you have to log out and log back in. If we go back here, we go to subscriptions. We can now see both subscriptions, and I'm an owner on both, and I can go and collaborate and spin up resources and do everything I need here. So this is the example of if I've already got an existing subscription and I just need to bring an additional user into it. That user has already had an Azure subscription or Azure role of some sort. What would happen if I had to bring in a user that didn't have any form of Azure role whatsoever? We've potentially created a new subscription or something along those lines. What I would do is I go add. Okay, and for the purpose of this one, I'm just going to do contributor, and then I am going to just invite my other account. So I want to make sure this is correct. Okay, so now you'll see when I click save, it's inviting the user and then it's going to add the user. The reason behind this is because this user does not exist in this Azure Active Directory at all. And if we're going to bring someone that has never existed before, we need to be able to give them the ability to reset passwords, and if we wanted to, multi-factor authentication and so forth. So we'll see that it's been I've been invited and I am now a contributor. Now if I log in using those credentials, nothing is going to happen. I'm still not going to see any subscriptions or anything like that. The reason for that is because I have to go in and actually go and accept this invitation. So you'll see Azure Tech Series has invited me to collaborate. You go get started. And then it's going to ask me, okay, please complete the following. Give it a second. What it's doing right now is creating a clone of this account in the Azure Active Directory so that I'm able to actually create resources and it can track who I am, what I'm doing, so on and so forth. The important part is once you've done this once, you never have to do it again for any of those subscriptions or tenants. It is specifically just once off that it creates this and makes it a Microsoft account. And the important part here is, as you can see, is I'm using an Outlook.com account. You don't have to have an Azure Active Directory or even a traditional on-premise Active Directory to be able to collaborate or work on an Azure subscription through CSP. It's just giving me an error there. Okay, it should be fine. So you don't need to actually have an Azure Active Directory. You can do this with any social account as well. Okay, so signed in. And here you can see now I have access to that subscription. And the important part being I only have access to this individual subscription, none of the other ones, and you can see my contributor role. And this is how role-based access control works in Azure with CSP. It allows you to assign a user to a specific subscription based on their role, and you can add and remove that user at any time. By default, from a Microsoft point of view, when a subscription is provisioned through Partner Center, we do not provide any roles to anyone outside of the CSP provider. Even the admin account that gets created, that account gets created. If it's never existed before, someone has to still go and accept the invitation and turn that into a Microsoft account that we can then manage from an Active Directory point of view. And this is how role-based access control works. If you need any information or have any questions around this, please feel free to reach out. I'll leave my details in the description below.